So you put this on before you have the tough conversations with your man, and it'll help you say the right thing.
Or the man needs to put it on so he says the right thing.
Listen, it's unisex. Okay. They're about to go on sale for $4.99. They'll be available on my website.
That's pretty good.
Understanding a Man chapstick. Okay. This is an industry untapped. Okay. Chapstick, I'm coming for you. Okay. We got the Understanding a Man. We'll call it what? Understanding a Man lip balm.
And then dudes need to understand too, ashy lips on a man is not cute either.
It's not. It's really not. And
yeah.
That, you know what, that sets off the so that sets off the whole podcast.
Right.
So listen, this is the Understanding a Man podcast, and I'm super excited today. Of course, I want to thank everybody that joins us, follows us. Please continue to share, like. Of course, you can follow us on Understanding a Man on YouTube as well to see the video, because I'm a little animated, and then I have this lovely young lady in front of me today. So you want to go over to the YouTube just beauty brains and watch. Y'all gonna hear in a second how she do. Okay. But yeah, we were just discussing the Understanding a Man lip balm, y'all.
Yes,
right? It's coming.
It's much needed. I wouldn't even think of thought of something like that.
And listen, Dawn set it off by saying that men, we need to make sure that we don't have ashy lips. That's very important.
I mean, why not?
The whole science.
Yeah.
It's so simple. Okay. And for $4.99, okay, I have what's necessary. It's got the light bulb on it and everything, Oh my gosh. Shout out to Shay from the first season of Ready to Love. She actually has a print shop. I think her handle is IDAP Solutions, I believe. She's the one that made these for me.
Oh.
Yeah, she has a print shop. So shout out to her. She's not just beauty and brains on the screen. For those of you who saw in Ready to Love, beautiful woman, beautiful inside and out.
Yeah.
But she also has her print shop. So
okay, good.
That's what you want to go holla at. I think it's at IDAP Solutions. If it's wrong, please don't be mad at me, Shay. I just tried to. I'm sorry, Shay. All right.
People can look her up. Put in Shay Ready to Love. You should be able to follow.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let me just introduce this amazing woman that you hear in the background there. You're hearing her. And so I had a chance to meet her probably about 2.5 years ago, pre-COVID. We were at an amazing event. And you know how somebody said, I was a part of the event as well for Urban CEO, Taria Avant, and just a couple other individuals. We just kind of came together in Houston. And I didn't know all the other speakers. Taria can just pull somebody out of a hat and they just be great. Or she can just know somebody forever and they'd be great. It don't matter.
Yeah.
And so when I heard her on stage, I was just like, all right, let me tune in. And I remember she was just like she was just the real deal. Okay. Certified life coach. All right. Amazing woman. She has her own radio station show that comes on, I believe, weekly, but I'll let her clarify that for me as well. Every time I'm on there, we always have so much fun. We just and we just did an episode this past Monday. The men came through and were dropping nuggets left and right. So I did put a clip up just on my YouTube as well of Dawn and I having a discussion, and we was just like, yo, we got to keep the conversation going, right? So before I go any further, I just want Dawn, if you could just kind of come on in. I just want to introduce to some and present to others. Hold on, this is Dr. Dawn Paul. All right.
Look, hey everybody, I am Dawn Paul, aka the Dr. Dawn, certified life coach. And
come on.
My prescription is my words. I got the nickname the Dr. Dawn.
Off early. Okay, my prescription is my word. I got to use that. Okay, go ahead.
What?
My prescription is my word. I love that.
That's my tagline. My prescription is my words. And when I started in radio, they gave me the nickname, the Dr. Dawn. So I registered it. I own the name. That's why I use the registration mark. But I am a certified life coach, and my prescription is my words. We talk real topics, heavy topics. If we do delve into deep-rooted issues, that's when I bring my therapist, doctor friends on. We don't cover anything. We're not going to cover rape, trauma, anything like that, just from Google. So we always bring in the experts, but I'm always willing to pour truth and wisdom to the people.
Right. So, let's dive right in really quickly because you has a plethora of knowledge. I want to give everybody a chance to hear from you. And I want to ask you, because as a certified life coach, that means, you have your certification. And how long have you been working in the space?
Oh gosh, a few years. A
Okay.
few years.
And
So
so
yeah.
you have clients that you've been working with, right? Men, women,
Yeah.
couples together, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard a meme yesterday,
Hmm.
not a meme, it was a TikTok, right?
Hmm.
I think it was like innovations or something like that. And so it was a conversation between a man and a woman, and she was just talking about expectations, right? And how, if you bring her flowers, right, she don't care about flowers, right?
Okay.
And that but she cares about Skittles, right? So you should be able to understand, have that. Okay. And then she was talking about with the man, regarding the man, that well, his expectation is 5 times a week and her expectation is 2 times a week. And so well, we're now not on the same page, but this is an expectation that should have been communicated.
Hmm.
I want to go to a basic moment and say, let's sit down and talk for a second.
Hmm.
Based upon your experience and what you see, like, why this sounds so easy to just set expectation.
Hmm.
So to understand what the other person, he wants sex 5 times or 2 times, she wants sex 1 time, and we talk about that like beforehand,
Right.
right? Or even once things. So talk to me about just is this something that you experience, and and why do you think it is that that people don't set expectations?
Well, first of all, that's why I always tell people premarital counseling.
Oh, come
The
on,
the
somebody.
the counselor, premarital
Mm,
counselor who is experienced, right, will bring these things out.
yes,
Because
ma'am.
he may think, okay, when we get married, it's going to be every night, all day, every day. She's
Right,
like, okay, I have a job, I'm a vice president in my company. 3 times a week is going to be the right. So
right.
these are like you got to talk about it.
Mm.
Um,
It
expectations,
seems so basic, though. I'm sorry, keep going. Go,
but
go ahead. Go ahead.
it's not basic to
Okay.
somebody. If you think about it, right? Many people are in love. They're in cloud nine. This is the best person in the world. You assume because you like to eat at the same restaurant, you go to the same church, everything is going to be, we're going to agree on everything. You don't talk about things. We don't think, but again, if you do your premarital counseling, premarital coaching, these things would come out that you wouldn't even think about
Oh, come on, come on.
because
And
you're not thinking about it. You're thinking about, oh my God, I'm in love and he's so great and she's so
oh,
pretty and I know she's going to be a great cook like her mama.
mm,
No, I don't really cook, right?
mm.
So don't
Right, right,
assume
right.
you come to my mama's house and I'm gonna cook like her because
Okay,
that's no, you know what I mean?
right.
Expectations. Expectations. Because if we go out to eat all the time while we're dating, I'm like, when we get married, I'm like, what you bringing out this pot for? Because that
So
ain't
you
what
know
we
what? Let me tell you something. If people were watching on the YouTube, I just had a man moment. I was trying to get my speaker on
yeah.
and listen to you at the same time. Like, it is so, the multitask was bad just then. That was just but but here's my thing. When you were
Yeah.
just speaking so I got my speaker. So now I'm in full mode right now.
Oh
Okay.
my
All
gosh.
right. So now we're about to have some fun. Okay. So I call it Blues Clues, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's what people do in relationships, right?
Mhm.
So Blues Clues, so
I've heard of it. Yeah, I mean,
okay,
I don't
all
have
right.
kids, so I've heard of blues.
So
Yeah.
on Nickelodeon, there's a show, it's called Blue Clues, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so there's like this dog, and then you got to kind of like sit on down and figure out what's going on the show, right? So you're like,
Okay,
basically, so it's
okay.
teaching kids how to, like, where is the blue ball?
Okay, okay,
Oh, it's over there. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Okay, so I always try to say to people that Blue's Clues only works on Nickelodeon. It doesn't work in relationships.
Right,
You can't expect the person to sit on down by themselves and figure it out. They
right,
need your active participation.
right.
And then watch this, your ongoing participation.
Yeah.
Right. And when you were just speaking about the pre-marriage portion, unshameless plug, that's exactly the reason why that I released my online course, are we ready yet course.com. You can go
Yeah.
there right now. And because we have individuals, and Dawn, we were talking about this the other day, pre-marriage, that's kind of like the last thing they do.
Or they don't do it at all.
Or they don't.
I've been
Come
interviewed
on.
couples. I'm like, did you get premarital counseling?
Uh-huh.
People who are divorcees and they said, no, we didn't.
Right. Right. I mean, something,
Yeah.
and that investment up front, whether it doesn't matter what the investment is up front. It's way more expensive
Yeah.
on the back end.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, ask anyone
Yeah.
that's divorced, because
They'll
either
tell you.
financial and go ahead.
No. I just said they'll tell you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. That it's way more expensive on the back end like that. So make that investment up front. But Dr. Dawn, it's about to be Christmas. It's about to be New Year's, right?
So
People
what?
gonna be people gonna be getting people want to get engaged on these days. What would you say to them? I mean, it's like let's just say dude bought the ring already, right? He's thinking about getting engaged on what's that thing, Saturday on
Yeah.
Christmas, and they have not gone through pre-marriage counseling yet. Give him 911 real quick, Dr. Dawn. What would you say to that man? Or New Year's? Oh yeah, in front of everybody. He's about to do it at the club on the 31st or the 25th. What would you say to that man right now?
You know what? I really hope she is the one. I hope you have prayed about it. I pray you all have had a conversation about it. And didn't you
Okay.
say, I said before you set the wedding date, you need to get
Right.
premarital counseling. But I think
Okay.
it was you or some other brother, I can't remember. But they said before you even buy the ring, you
That was
need
me.
counseling.
That was me.
Okay,
That
yeah,
was
that was
me.
you.
That's the clip. I actually put that clip
Oh, okay.
on the website. Before you even get the ring, like, dude, before you spend 5, 10, 15, $20,000, have you set the expectation of what you really need?
Do you know, are you really married? Why are you doing it? And marriage is a beautiful thing, right? You're
Right.
married. I pray to be married someday,
Right.
but some don't get caught up in the emotion and
Come
oh my
on.
gosh, it's the holiday and
Besides,
we're
I
under the
love you.
mistletoe. No,
Besides, I love you, and the sex is good. Like, let's move those off the table because love is an action. It's not a feeling.
right.
Okay. But you're gonna have to take action to stay. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, doctor. This action, all this feely good stuff, especially it's holiday time, people just want to fall and bend the knee.
Well,
And
if
that's
the
what
brother, if he has really thought it through, right, and
right,
he
right,
does
right.
it during the holiday, that's fine. That's
Hmm.
fine.
Okay.
But I'm saying if everybody's at grandma's house and
Hmm.
she brings you a plate and you
Right.
like, okay, I'm no, 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 don't get
No,
caught up in the emotion
not the
and
plate.
all this foolishness. And grandma says, I had a dream about somebody with fish, all
With
that.
fish. Oh, come on with the fish. Come on.
What, right? But if he the brother
Yes.
is if he has thought it through and he does it over the holidays, that's fine.
Listen to
But don't be
grandma.
under the mistletoe getting caught up in emotion. That's a dangerous thing. I don't care if she expects it at Christmas. It's not gonna happen. Sister, you need to calm down, right? So
Right.
if he has planned and he does it over the holidays, that's fine. But don't get
Mhm.
caught up in emotion. Don't
Okay,
get caught up in emotion
so
or
sir,
pressure,
you've already put a
pressure
lot
either.
of you already put a lot into this. We know that you might have already bought the ring, which I feel like is premature. And I want to say, men, let's just really think about this before we go get a house, right?
Mhm.
We research the neighborhood, right? Do I have to tell you how you break down where the nearest Whole Foods is or post office or whatever? So you do all that research. How close is it to your job, which is the next thing that we also research, salaries and stuff like that, and benefits and all that. And school, we research where is it located, what's their accreditation, all of that. But for the biggest business, emotional, and financial situation that you will ever make in your life, you just buy a ring and you either don't do pre-counseling or you just you wait till the end, right? Like
Yeah.
right before, like, okay, you're getting married on Sunday, on like this Saturday, you get married, right? And you do it like Thursday. What if you find out an expectation that you cannot step up to?
Again,
Are you really gonna turn around? Because go ahead, sir.
you have
Go
to
ahead,
have
go ahead, doctor.
conversations. Now, look, this is the other thing. This is what my mama told me. She said, I don't care if we spend $50,000, $100,000 on a wedding. If
Right,
you don't feel good about it, we'll
right.
just have a party. She said, don't do right. Right.
Uh,
So that's what she said. Don't ever feel pressure because we were talking about those kind of situations that
right, and
can
we shouldn't
happen.
even have to get to that point because we've done the research up front for the person. You're gonna drop 20 grand and you have not shared your expectations, or you
Well,
have not
again, people need to have the conversation.
come
Why
on,
are you
come
not
on.
asking?
And
It's
that's what she was saying.
assumptions.
Mhm.
It's assumptions. We make assumptions. Um, and then a lot of people don't know who they are, right? They think they know what
Ooh,
marriage is.
that's a whole hour.
They think they know what love is when maybe they haven't fully healed from
Mhm.
generational curses, from sexual abuse, right?
Right,
So
right, right,
they
right.
think this person is so great and so
Mhm.
wonderful, and they don't
Mhm.
have the conversations because
Right,
again, they're in love.
right.
Um, and that's a great thing, but you need to make sure you're getting premarital counseling. You
Come
need
on.
to ask questions. Don't assume she wants children.
Come
Don't
on.
assume he wants children.
Ooh, I've
Do
seen
you
that
know
already.
if maybe if she can't have children?
Come on.
Maybe,
I mean,
and I'm not trying to be
that
funny
and
when
that
you
no no no
stand
no. That's
still.
real. That's real. See,
Maybe
this is a real conversation right here. Does it sound? Do I know somebody that was in a situation that okay, they thought it was all good, and then she got married, and then like she couldn't have kids. This man wanted a legacy. Of course, it's sad, and it's something that
yeah.
take I know that Mother Nature selects things and does things at different times, and I get that, but I understand that. So I want to make sure I'm sensitive with how I say this. All
No,
right.
it's real.
But they found out afterwards, and then he was, and the marriage went bad.
Now,
And
if
people were
she
just like,
didn't
oh, well,
know,
he should have been there for her. And I'm like, I do understand that, right?
yeah.
It doesn't say for better or for worse and richer or poor in the Bible. I say that, and people don't like that, but I just that does it.
Mhm.
It doesn't say that. So when people just like so, and the reason why that I bring that up because they'll say, well, it says for better or for worse. Well, what verse is that?
Well, it's the vows. Yes, true. But biblical principles, if you follow. Now, if she did not know,
Mm-hmm.
then that's one thing. But if she
Right.
knew and didn't say anything,
Right.
or if that was in her family history and she
Right.
didn't, the medical history, and she didn't share it, then
Right.
that's something else, right?
Right.
But if she didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
then that's not her fault, right?
And no, definitely not fault. I would actually fault him. See what I'm saying? So let me be
Mhm.
very clear. I'm actually not even faulting her. I'm going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fault
yeah.
him.
But I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, because I'm going to say
Yeah.
that okay, if you are a person without kids, and this is a person without kids, and you're looking to marry the person, well, why haven't you gone with her to the doctor to make sure the person had a physical? Is there something crazy about that? Don't we take blood tests to make sure that we know what's
Not
like?
anymore. See, it's a different
See what I'm
time.
saying?
But see, you
Okay.
have to be responsible. Don't assume anything about
Hmm.
everything. And then I think it's hard to have those
It
conversations,
is,
though,
and
right?
oh, I'm
But
sorry.
you
Go ahead.
gotta have them. You
Right.
gotta have them.
And this is where a third party comes into play. This is why I would say to everybody, even if you don't know all the correct questions and all that, you're actually not supposed to. Okay. Don't recreate the wheel. There are things that are in place. There are people, there are blessings. There are people who are talented out here. Forget Elam. There are people who are talented out here that are designed to be able to help you walk through some things you haven't thought about.
And sometimes it can be an ain't right. And then also they know what they're doing, because if it comes out, right? And that's why premarital counseling, if you have the right one, right, will have
Right.
you in a place where you're comfortable to share the ugly stuff.
That's bring it
And
out. Bring it out.
and if she, for instance, let's just talk about it, maybe she was a different person before she came to Christ. And maybe there were some things in her past. She's going to feel comfortable in a no judgment zone
I like
with
that.
that premarital counselor, and then
I
that
like that.
brother will be able to hold her hand instead of judging her. You see what I'm saying? Because if you
No,
sometimes
that's
tell
true.
people some ugly stuff
There you
at,
go.
at home, it ain't gonna be, but that premarital counselor is gonna have y'all work through that.
Right.
Or
And that's
brother, maybe you have a child that you don't claim because you didn't get along with them, and it was 10 years ago. You need
come
to
on.
tell your fiance that just
Hey,
because you
because
don't
a
get along
blended
with
family,
mama, right?
come on.
So let's talk about it. Oh, well, I don't claim it because we didn't get along, but the child is still out there, and your
Right.
fiance should know that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because 10
That's
years from now, it's gonna be somebody gonna come knocking on our door talking
come
about,
on.
hey, so these are things we don't want to talk about, but we
Right.
need to talk about.
I
It's the ugly stuff.
I
and and
love
and they'll
that.
really help you talk about the ugly stuff, and you can do it without shame. Now, I'm not saying you don't put all your business out there on the first date, right? But
Right.
once you have a trust factor, you
Yeah.
can trust, and that
Well, no, we
premarital,
way past
right?
first date. Remember,
Yeah,
we about to
yeah.
get married. We
Because you
way
gotta,
past. I
yeah.
seen you naked. You can take a dump, and I'll just walk past the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like that. We there, right? We there. I seen you
You
naked
have to
and all,
trust.
and emotionally and physically and financially. Hopefully by then too. And these are also some things. At some point, we have to sometimes realize that maybe we haven't seen the other person financially naked. Like what is there? Do you even know your spouse, your fiance's credit score? You know what I'm saying? Do you know their fiscal and what they do from a financial? I hope you have access to their bank account. You know, or at least you guys have had the discussion, because sometimes you have people with separate accounts, and I get it, so I'm not going to judge on that. But as long as you're having the conversation, have you seen them emotionally naked? You see what I'm saying? And watch this. When we're saying these things, Dr. Dawn, help me understand. All of this is expectations.
Well, I think, have you seen them? And I talked to this brother, and he was so great. He said he loves when he dates, and he likes to see a woman at her worst, because
Right.
it's easy for people to be at their best because everybody's on their best behavior. He said,
Right.
but he likes when she has that emotional outburst, because he's like, okay, now I'm seeing the real, right?
Right.
So I think it's good to see people at their worst. How do
Right.
they handle a bad day? How do they handle things that are tough? That
That
man you meet,
multitasking.
you
Yeah.
met him and he was making 6 figures. He lost
Mhm.
his job. How is he now?
Mhm.
And brother, is she there for you? These are things, and as a woman of God, as a Christian, look, I haven't been, I'm not a virgin here, but I know laying your body down, soul
Right.
ties is real. And
That's
I'm
real.
not
Come
playing
on.
games anymore. That's why
Come
I
on.
really stress to people, instead of all that other stuff,
Right.
follow the word of God.
Come on.
And if he doesn't wait, or she doesn't wait, our bodies are temples. And I know people don't want to hear it, but I talk about it because
Yeah,
I
no,
know
and I'm
it.
glad that you brought it to the surface. It's just that, there's different aspects, whether we take it from a spirituality perspective, or whether, I think that this is a principle that it really doesn't matter. And when we're talking about advancing our community exists of more than just believers.
Mhm.
And so I think that whether you're, particularly for my believers, absolutely, you have the scriptures that are just giving us the roadmap of how to do this, right?
Yes.
But let's just say you're like, okay, you're working on your heart, and or you're not a believer, whatever. I don't care what religion you are. Okay, I don't care what spirituality level you are. You could just follow the universe. Whatever you do, you have to set expectations. You have to
Well,
set boundaries.
Well, absolutely. But I speak as a
Mhm.
believer. I speak on
Absolutely.
biblical principles. So I
Absolutely.
always, people know when I come on the platform, I'm not going to sugarcoat and
Oh,
act
please
like I
don't.
don't believe in God because, oh my
No.
God, if you don't want it, you don't want it. But no, absolutely. In my show, and guests, all my guests have not been believers. And I'm very, and we just try to shine the light of God, of Jesus,
Please
wherever
do.
we can, right? But anybody, you need to be setting boundaries, whoever you are, because you deserve better. And you
Right.
need to know that.
Mm.
So just putting that on the table, loving yourself. You have to know who you are, and you have to love who you are,
And and
and
and
be
so the,
healed.
and so if you had to, I don't know if there's, if I know we have basically already said this,
Mhm.
but I want to, if you had to speak to, and I want to transition, just staying along the lines of or something that you just said, but I want to transition a second. But if you had to speak to just that couple
Mhm.
that might be listening, or that man or that woman that might be a fiance, and they haven't even thought about this space, okay? They haven't even thought about the importance of pre-marriage counseling, even though I know there's some examples. What would you, if you just had to give them just an example, or 1 minute or whatever, of what would you say to that person?
I would just say, first of all, I say congratulations. How long have y'all been together? Oh, how did he propose? You
Mhm.
ask those kind of questions. And
Mhm.
I'd be like, okay, well, I pray you have a blessed marriage. Have y'all gotten premarital counseling? Just ask the
Mhm.
question. And if they say, no, we don't, I said, okay, well, just, and you don't talk at people, you talk to them, right?
Right, right,
And
right.
then you just kind of, now, depending on how well I know the couple, I'm going to be like, now look, y'all.
You're right.
Right? If you
That's
don't
me
know
a
them
lot
that
of
well,
times, but
but if you don't know him that
uh,
well, say, well, how was your spiritual walk with Christ?
mhm.
Because for a long lasting marriage, I just want to see y'all last. I
Mhm.
really encourage y'all to get premarital counseling, and I can even recommend somebody. And that's
Right,
what you say. And like you say in the church, either you accept it or reject it. But
right.
that's how you do. You don't talk at people, you talk to them because maybe they haven't thought about it.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, just give them something to think about, and then tell them why. They might think, oh, well, we don't. Let's say, well, you know what? It really just helps you and it build a strong foundation for a marriage. They talk about finances. You know, you don't
Right.
scare them, because some people,
Right.
men don't want to hear counseling. I don't, you know.
I know,
So
and that's
just
such a I
talk.
just that's such a stigma that I'm just working every day to try to make sure that we can do better in that area. And I know that you're doing that as well, because that's something inside of our culture. And I will, because I do have clients that are all races. They're all like that.
Yeah, it
All
can happen.
like I'm well, excuse me. I say 85% of the time I'm contacted by the woman.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not, and every now and then when I get a guy, I'll be like, ooh, okay. Like it is different, you know, but guess what? 85%, watch this. 85% of women file for divorce.
Mm,
Only 15% of guys file. It's
yeah.
normally the woman. So I would say, ladies, even to Dr. Dawn's point just then, if sometimes this is what happens in a marriage. It's not 50-50. Somebody's going to be better than somebody else or stronger in an area than the other. Communication, there are normally gaps that are existing with the baby boomers and the X and the Y. We need to develop through that. In the meantime, you're going to have to take some lead in this area. You could say he should do it and all that. Yo, you get divorced from him just like he gets divorced from you. So
I applaud her
wait.
I applaud her. I applaud him for saying, okay, you make the call.
Right.
Because I mean, some things you all leave to us. Let's be honest about it.
Right.
But as long as he's on board for it, shout out to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he might not be, but here's the thing. You still need to go. And this is for
Yes.
men or women. Let me share something with you. If the other person doesn't go and you're still walking forward in this marriage, then you go. So
Well, if the
I'm
other
not,
person, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I'm good. So all the people that might be like, well, I tried and they said they didn't, then you go. Okay, you go and you figure out at least what you're supposed to be doing, because maybe you might go in there and identify something that makes you say, you know what? This
And
might not be it.
they may delve into some things as why is he not here? Or why is she not here?
Yep.
And it
Yep.
gives you something to think about. Is this
Yep.
who I want? Because you're supposed to be partner. You have to compromise. You're
Come
not
on.
asking him to go rob a bank. You asking him to, you know, now you need to talk to him, babe or sister or babe, you know, why don't you want to go? Let's just try it. If they're not even open, yes, you need to go
That
by
sends a
yourself.
message. Yeah, it sends a message, because why not?
Yeah. But you do need to go on your own, and maybe that
And that's
therapist
what
and
I want to put out
counselor,
there. Go ahead.
and maybe for whatever reason there he or she has reservations. Maybe they had met a therapist or counselor that was not great.
Right.
And so there are different reasons, but if you get down to the root of it, you really you'd be surprised at why people don't do certain things.
Oh, and
Yeah.
let's go, Dr. Dawn. Let's go ahead and expel some things real quick. Hey, Dr. Dawn, have you ever gone to a restaurant and you didn't like the food?
Yes.
Okay. Did that stop you from ever going to any other restaurants?
No.
Okay. Have you ever dated and got your heart broke?
Oh yes.
That didn't stop you from dating again, did it?
No.
Okay. Have you ever tried Jesus and you didn't get what you asked for?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't stop you from continuing to believe, correct?
Yeah. But everybody's mind is different.
But for
Everybody,
all the
yeah.
people, no, I'm just saying, so for all the people that say that you tried counseling before, you tried coaching before, and it didn't work out, one of those three things I just said, you've done.
Yeah.
So if
Now,
you
on
can
the
do
other
that,
side of that, on the
yeah,
other
go ahead.
side of that, on the other side of that, maybe he or she, if they don't want to go to counseling, therapy, premarital coaching because they don't want to hear the truth,
Come on.
that could be another
And
issue. They don't
that's
want
why I said
somebody
red
telling
flag.
Yeah. So you
Red
can get
flag
down to
here.
why. You can get down to the why, to the reasoning. If you ask the question, sister or brother, and I'm talking to white, black, everybody's a brother here. I ain't talking about just black people as brother, sister. Everybody who's on here is a brother or sister. Okay.
Right.
So you need to get down to the root. You need to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Does that even make sense? You go to premarital counseling on your own and your part, and he not even there, or you going to a therapist and you're trying to walk down the aisle and this person don't want to. Red flags. You can.
I mean, honestly, I'm sitting here saying to myself, I wish I had. I'm going to order on Amazon some red flags. Next time you come on here, I'm gonna have them because I'd have been like this. No, that's a red flag. He don't want to go to counseling with you. She don't want to go to counseling with you. Why?
Denial.
Why would somebody not want to do that? And so now that you know, don't tell me that you don't have the money if you're gonna have a wedding.
Yeah. You shouldn't even be planning a wedding.
Don't say it. Don't say it. If you're having a wedding, then you have money for counseling.
And that's
you got the time and the investment for it. If you got time to go eat cake, to know what type of cake the people in the audience are going to eat, you got time to go to counseling.
That's right. We make time for what we want to make time for.
Right. And so
a lot of people weren't raised with mental health, support and therapy.
Most of us weren't really raised in that. We could have good parents, but still like they missed the boat in some stuff. Everybody's parent did.
Now we know. Yes. Now we know.
Yes.
And yes, you made it because that's something nobody considered, premarital counseling, right?
Nobody talked about it back in the day.
You love each other and you went to your pastor maybe for a couple of weeks before.
He prayed over you. He just prayed over you.
But
do you like him? Do you love him? Go with God. And let me tell you something. I always say God and love is not by itself enough for your marriage to just work.
You're going to have to take some steps. You're going to have to, because God even wants you to put in the work.
Come on, instructions all through it.
Cultivate. You're going to have to cultivate the relationship, but this is part of building a firm foundation. We don't want anyone to get a divorce. That's what we don't want. So we want to have a long, healthy, forever kind of love.
Absolutely. And
that's what I pray for people.
And I think that I love the last thing that you just said, Dr. Dawn, with regard to, we're not looking for anybody to divorce. We're already talking about in the US, 50% of the people who get married get divorced.
Yeah.
In the minority community, up to 70%. So that means if you line up 10 couples, like statistically 7 black couples, line up 10 black couples, 10 Hispanic couples, 10 Asian couples, whatever, like in the minority community, bottom line is, 7 might not make it. That's huge odds.
So what does that tell you? It tells you we have some work to do.
We got some work to do. Love is not enough. The sex is not enough. It's not.
You can put in the work. You can get the premarital counseling. You can ask the questions. You can build a foundation for a firm, forever kind of marriage.
Right.
Or you can be a statistic.
And I'm going to throw this part in there, just from a scriptural perspective. And we love to talk about Ephesians 5 and how it gives the instructions, for men to love and for women to submit and whatnot. And then sometimes when you bring up, men to love, it's like, yes, men, that's what you're supposed to do. But then when we begin to have the conversation about submission, and I've talked about this in, 1 or 2 previous episodes that we had, but I want to dig a little bit deeper because I don't think that understanding of that submission. I'm going to say this to you, and I want to see what your thoughts are about it. So, of course, the Bible talks about submitting, and I think a lot of times the people, they look at
my life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow.